Hey there, Stampers. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. I am here today with a special episode of Teach Me Tuesday. I thought if you're anything like me, you're probably in the last-minute scurry to get all the holiday stuff done. So I thought I'd share in the next couple of videos, the next couple of weeks, I thought I'd share some gift wrapping options, some fun and simple ways to kind of get some of those last-minute things done. And you may not even have to come out of your house. So that would be even better, right? So if you've got a stash like me, you probably have a ton of 12 by 12 paper at home. So you'll be able to make this cute little gift bag. How cute is this, right? Very easily with what you have on hand. So funny story is that even though I tell, and I do, have tons of 12 by 12 paper around, you do want to have two 12 by 12 sheets that are the same pattern. So all the Stampin' Up! Packages have two of each pattern in them for the most part. So it would work out fantastic. But I realized when I was going to put this together, because I was going to use Christmas paper, that all of my Christmas paper, I've done a really good job of using up what I bought, which means I get to buy more, right? That's how that works. So, but when I went to find two pieces of 12 by 12 holiday paper of the same pattern, I didn't have that. So I had to be a little bit creative. So I actually made this one using the Bundle of Love, I don't remember the actual paper name. I think it's something like that. It's the Bundle of Love suite in the annual catalog. And I do like non-traditional colors for Christmas, so I thought this could work. And I put the Oh Joy on it from the Watercolor Christmas Stamp set, which is a great stamp set, by the way, and it is retiring. It's this one here. I've done a lot of projects with this one. But I thought that would work out great because I could use it for a holiday gift bag if I want to, because I think this would work with the non-traditional colors. I even have, I think, a pink and blue card that I could put together with it for Christmas. Or if I end up not using it, I do know a couple of babies that are arriving or that have just arrived, so I could use that for this too. But let's go ahead and get started on how to make this adorable little gift bag. All right, so this is actually a blast from the past. I remember my upline, the person that I signed up under 12 years ago almost, she was making these way back when. So this is an oldie but goodie. So I'm using another piece of that Bundle of Love paper. Sorry. It's really great versatile paper. So one side is gold and vanilla, and then the other side is pink and vanilla or blue and vanilla. So it's great for babies, but you can also use it for other occasions. I'm in a glitzy mood lately, so I'm going to use this glitzy side as the outside. So as I said, you want two of the same sheet, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our scoring pal. I'm sorry, it's not a score palette, it's a scoreboard here, the Stampin' Up! Scoring tool. And we're going to go ahead, and on one side you're going to want a 2-inch score, and then the other three sides you're going to do 3-inch score. So the side that you're doing as the 2-inch score is the one that's going to flap over. So it's going to be this little flap. So in this case, I want the pattern paper to be going up like this. I don't want it to be sideways. I just like it when it's facing upward. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on its side, and I'm going to score this side at 2 inches so that the flap will be going down in the right direction of the pattern. So I'm going to take it at my 2-inch mark, and I'm just going to go ahead, whoops, I'm going to use a smaller tip for this. I'm going to go ahead and score that at 2 inches. Now I'm just going to turn, and on every other side, I'm going to do 3 inches. And not every other, meaning this one and not the next one, every other, meaning all other sides. So we're going to do 3 inches, 3 inches, and 3 inches. So 2 on the side, that's going to be your flap. Okay, so now let me just show you. So this is my 2-inch side here. So when I flap that down, now you can see what I mean, that the pattern's going to be going up and down. So that's what I was trying to do. So we're going to do the same thing on the second one. Make sure you have the pattern in the right direction. So you want it to match the other side. So, whoops, got a little overzealous there. 2 inches, 3 inches. You don't really need to go 3 times, but I just always do for some reason. Particularly with this paper, it's a little bit heavier weight than our normal paper. If you're using our regular designer series paper, you actually would probably only want to go once, and you'd want to use a pretty light touch because it can be a little bit thinner than our cardstock. Okay, so that is all we need to do for the scoring. So all we need right now is 2 pieces of 12 by 12 matching paper, the scoring tool of some sort, and now I'm going to recommend you have a bone folder because you're going to want to crease this, particularly this little flap part. So we're going to crease this over first. And I did have to refresh my memory a little bit on this, so I did watch a couple of YouTube videos, but I always like to do my own. So I do appreciate the refresher. Like I said, my upline had made this ages and ages ago, so it's an oldie but goodie. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Now we're going to flap over this side, and I'm going to crease this. I'm going to crease this side as well. Okay, you can start to see this coming together here. And then for the bottom, I'm actually going to open it up and then crease this bottom part here. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside. We're going to do the same thing on the other one. So we're going to fold the 2-inch side down to make our flap. Okay. And then with those flaps folded, we're going to go ahead and fold the 2 sides in. There's one, again, just getting a nice crease on that. And we'll do the other one. Crease that as well. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and take this, fold that up, and we're going to crease that one too. Now, before I do anything else, I like to tape this flap down, particularly on the sides, so that when you're assembling it together, it will hold this flap down in place, and it won't lift on the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that down, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And I'm using the Fast Fuse tape, which does take a little bit of getting used to. Whoop, I'm sorry. Let's make you not dizzy. I think it's time for me to get a new camera thing. That one always gets in my way. All right, so I'm using the Fast Fuse, as I said. It's a much stronger hold adhesive, so for boxes and things like that, it's very useful. Okay, so now, next up, what we need to do, out of one of our 2 sheets, we're going to cut this little, there's a little 3x3 square right here. We're actually going to cut right on the score lines. And we're going to cut one of them out completely here. Technically, we're going to do 2 of them out. So we're going to take that one out, and we're going to turn it, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to cut this one out too. All right. And I'm going to take that out. Okay. So this is what I'm left with. You have the little box with the little bottom. On this one, instead of cutting this whole square out, I'm just going to cut in from the side. So we're going to go ahead and cut from the edge to that first score line, and then I'm going to turn it the other way and cut in from the edge to that score line. Okay. Now I did cut myself a piece of 3x6, very vanilla cardstock. This is going to go on the bottom just as a little bit of support for your bag. You don't have to do this, but I've seen other cases where they've done that, and it does just kind of give a little bit of reinforcement. I'm using my liquid Tombow glue. You could use tear and tape, but because that's another nice strong tape, for the practicality of taping this video, this one's faster in the sense that I can, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, in the sense that I can actually go ahead and glue it up and then place it down without having to stick and burnish and pull up and, you know, all that kind of stuff with the tape. So it's a little bit faster for the video's sake. Either would work, though. I do like my green glue. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. Now we're going to actually start to assemble this a little bit. first up is we're going to put a little bit on these flaps here, on the ones that still have flaps. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I did this, I'm doing this in a different order than what I did the first time. And most of what I did the first time worked out really well, but I'm thinking this is not the best way to do this. But we're going to do it this way because I've already started. So we're going to go ahead and tape those sides together. So I'm just going to rub that together a little bit to make sure the glue fully adheres. Okay, so you can see we're starting to get a little box here. There's one side. So now we're going to take this, and on the inside of this little box, I'm going to go ahead and put, this isn't going to be any easier than the way I did it before. This is, in fact, not the best way to do it. When I did it the first time, I actually attached what I'm doing right now first. So I attached this little base piece. Sorry, I'm banging this. I attached this base piece to the bottom of the other one first, and I think that is actually the much easier way to do it. It's still going to be tricky. I was trying to avoid what I'm going to have to do in a second, but I'm still going to have to do it anyway, so it didn't even save me that. It really doesn't matter how you do it. Just some ways are a little easier than other. Alright, so now I'm going to just go ahead and turn this over. And now I'm going to add glue to this side. You don't need a ton of glue. And then to this side. You do probably want to make sure you get them on the edges in this case because you don't want them to pick up. So let me just make sure I got some on the edges here, which I did. So now this is the careful part, like you have to kind of pick it up. So remember I have glue on both sides of those. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this inside here together and just hold that briefly together. And now this is the one that's a little bit trickier because you have to kind of get them both in there at the same time. Okay, so now I've got both sides there. Make sure they're fully down. And then I'm just going to put it on its side and put my hand inside there and just rub that a little bit to get that nice and closed and sealed. You do want to give the the green glue a little while to set up before you actually put anything heavy in there. So there you have it. The quick little box. I'll probably go back and add a little bit of green glue right there to kind of make sure that stays put. This side seems to be doing okay. And you can go in and if there's any sort of like gaps or anything or hanging over bits like this little piece here, I'll just go in and cut that off. And then all I did was embellish. So I just took some of the powder pink ribbon and I used my hole punch to punch holes in here. I used my Crop-A-Dile. So the way I got it straight was when you're using the Crop-A-Dile, which many of you may have, I just measured how I went 1.5 inches over. And you could probably do just 1 inch if you wanted. These are kind of close together, but it worked perfectly. And then when I put it in here, I made sure I went all the way down as far as the tool would go. And that way I knew they were even from the top. So that's a little trick for you. Okay. And then I just did some gold embossing and added some jute twine in the gold sequin trim and the powder pink ribbon to do handles. The thicker ribbon does work better for handles, but you could use anything. And there you have it. You have the finished box. So hopefully gave you some ideas for some last minute wrapping. As I said, I hope to share with you in the next couple of weeks. I think we have, is it just one more Tuesday? Actually, I think the second Tuesday will actually be Christmas. I think Christmas is Tuesday this year. So next week, anyway, possibly a week out later too, I'll give you another idea for some last minute gift wrapping, but I just thought this would be something fun to share. You can make tons of these little bags with just 2 sheets of 12 by 12 paper, and I know we all have a bunch of that, right? So thanks so much for watching. If you loved this video or even liked it, you can go ahead and subscribe. Just hit the little red button underneath this video, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.